if without an explanation that piece is worthless, let's say, I believe it's worthless. I believe that the value of that piece comes in the explanation, maybe, you know. I think art should move your heart rather than your mind.
Hello everyone, here we are with another interview. This time we will probably speak in English. This is Christian. He's an artist and a tattoo artist and also makes many different kinds of works. He will talk about his work and we will also, I don't know, speak about other things related to art. You have many different things going on at the same time, like for example the t-shirts and the tattoos. If you want, you could like talk about what kind of art are you mainly doing.
Mainly, I work as a tattoo artist, and that's like my main stream of income because nowadays it seems to be like the easiest way to make money out of art. However, in Valencia, the market is actually quite saturated. If you walk down the street in the center of Valencia, you most probably are gonna find one tattoo studio every 2 or 3 streets. Like there's just like so many tattoo artists and so many like competitivity that it's just like really hard to actually reach the clients. Also, one of the other things I've been doing, which you've mentioned before, is the t-shirts, which I paint with bleach. Basically, I just make a beautiful drawing which is just unique, and you just get that one, and no one else is gonna have the same t-shirt as you do, which I think it's fine, although it's kind of hard to find a niche market where you can actually like shine. Yeah, and also other projects have been like painting skateboards, painting guitars. Now I am sculpting some electric guitars, and yeah, just trying out anything that I can paint on, anything that I can like change. I like to do, and I like to experiment with it. Apart from that, mainly I'm doing designs, which I get asked a lot to do, and well, you know, the everyday tattoos that I will need to do just for kind of living, let's say. I mean, it is kind of art in a way, but it's I see it's many times more like artisan-y, you know, because there are some tattoos which are art because they're unique, then they're like actually very special, like one piece for each one, and it's actually really nicely done. But others are just like, hey, you want to have this symbol on your skin? I can do it, you know, and that's also part of being like a tattoo artist.
Yeah, you basically put your mark on anything that you can find. You first went into tattoos and you were doing your own designs, but now you see it as like commissions. But in a way, you also like design it for them many times.
Many times it actually depends like on the client and what they want, what they would like to get on their skin, because there are times where it's kind of a middle point because they may want something that's already quite specific, but maybe I can also convince them to get it slightly modified so that like first of all like symbolizes better what it's meant to be, and then actually just for the sake of not having something that other people are going to have on your skin, because I can guarantee you it's a horrible feeling to have a tattoo on your skin and go, for example, on the street and see your own tattoo like on someone else's skin. It's just like, you know, as if you were sharing a nose, or I don't know how to describe it, but it's just not a pleasant feeling, you know. It's just like doesn't involve as much artistry, although it does involve a lot of technique, and that also is part of the artistry, but it's not quite the same, is it? Like you're not really trying to express something, but rather just like do a job that you know how to do.
Yeah, I see. And it's also something that you do 100% for others. Well, you also did some tattoos on yourself, right? If you could tell us what's your favorite tattoo that you have, or one that you like think about it and you remember something very memorable.
That's all of them. So like for example, this one I have over here actually brings me lots of memories because this was done by my teacher. Well, this one I have in the hand, it was drawn by a friend of mine in a trip, like just for the sake of drawing it, just like asked for my hand to be able to draw something. And I like the memory of it and like what it transmitted to me, and I just felt like tattooing it on my skin, and it's actually really nice. Also, another funny thing is that the palm of the hand, it was like one of the most painful things I've ever had to go through, like in my whole life. But yeah, this was all done by my teacher in Vienna. I'm so glad I got to know him and to learn from him because I admire him so bad. Like he's actually been before and after in my artistic career.
Could you say that your teacher from Vienna, is he like your main reference or your influence?
He is quite a big reference. I spent 2 weeks with him. Also, I was living at his house and everything, so it was like very like immersive experience. It wasn't like 2 weeks where you go 2 times a week or something. I was like full on every day, all the day, like just drawing and being there. He is quite a big reference, and like he's doing very well. He has like a unique style. He's like absolutely gorgeous. Like what he does, I find it incredible. He's actually not my only artist whom I look up to at all. Actually, I was studying with Alex Alemani, who has been also like a great master and one of the best artists I have ever got to meet in person by far. Throughout my life, I've never had like a very formal education art-wise, but I have had like many different teachers in many different times of my life, and it's actually been a very constant thing. In a way, I didn't get to study at university, for example, but on the other hand, I did get to find some of the best teachers and some of the best artists like to get to teach me like in person, and that was really meaningful for me and very, very helpful.
It's interesting how, in a way, you're like self-made, like you're already putting your work, your projects, or your different things out there. What would you like to do next? Would you like to expand your brand online? Where would you like to take this?
I definitely wouldn't like to get this online because I am actually kind of a computer hater, let's say. I don't like technology. I do not get on well with it, and like it doesn't get well with me either. I promise, like it's just my limit in that sense. Right now, I'm having a lot of ideas. One of them is going from market to market, doing my own stuff and like trying to sell it. I don't know. I just find it like a simple way to reach people without like spending money on a website and doing all kinds of crazy internet stuff, which I don't understand and I actually don't enjoy doing. So I much rather just stay in the street and go meeting the people one by one. And I'm actually thinking of going abroad. I just told you before. I want to move to the Netherlands, where I think, first of all, there's a bigger culture for spending money on handmade stuff, on art, and also like there's just more money, more opportunities. People just have, I think, a different mindset. And yeah, I think actually in Spain it's very hard to make your own way of living, but actually if you try to do it from art, it's even worse, like much worse.
It's never easy, and in the arts it's even less easy. So I always get stressed out thinking about what am I gonna do after third year, after graduation. Like, where do I go from there? We are like, I don't know, hundreds of art students going out into the world, and then people who are not art students and are already there trying to find their space. Like, you were checking out the niche and the competitivity. We all know that the art world is very subjective, first of all, and then it's full of people.
This market with all the what you were talking about, you just don't see a hole for yourself, don't you? Like you just don't find that there is anything new in contemporary art, isn't it? Like it's just the same old thing we've seen all the time, just repeating itself and just making no sense once and again and again.
I have something, like, maybe, you know? I just remembered something.
Much better with a couple.
Yeah, much better like this.
What I actually want to talk about and have a strong opinion about, just wanted to like let it out here, see what you think, is that maybe if the art doesn't, like the piece of art, if it doesn't work by itself, if you don't see, for example, a picture or a video or whatever you are watching in the museum, and if it doesn't move you, if it doesn't make you feel anything before you read its explanation, if without an explanation that piece is worthless, let's say, I believe it's worthless. I believe that the value of that piece comes in the explanation, maybe, you know, maybe the explanation is art, but the piece that doesn't make you feel anything until you read the explanation, I think that's just like a way to make it become art and just like a legal hole, like a legal trick to make it into art, but it doesn't really mean anything to me. And yeah, maybe my art is more like decorative. Maybe many people would say what I do is not art because it doesn't try to express, let's say, like something concrete. You wouldn't be able to write a phrase explaining, oh, I was trying to mean this with this concept, and I just try to make beautiful things that you see and you say, oh, that's nice, I like it, I enjoy watching it. My main thing when I draw, my main like goal is just to make people enjoy what they're seeing from me. And I think many times that's just got lost. We are just trying to break with the established art and be like the newest shit, and I think we just kind of losing in that area a lot, because there's a lot of stuff from the classic art that is just getting lost and no one is taking it back, and it's just, oh, since it's old, it doesn't have any value, you just gotta break what's done and break the rules. And I think that's kind of selfish. That's a selfish way to look at art, just being the one who breaks it all and is the most cool one of all because he knows more. Something like that. I just feel like it's kind of fake. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that this is something that is also like very current in my mind. I try to think of a purpose to draw something. Like, why would I spend so much time and effort making something if there is no explanation behind it, just for the sake of making it? But then when I see what artists do and when I see interviews, most artists just do it because it's natural and they like it. There's nothing else behind it. Oh, I must do something that is related to a big concept, not just make it for me. Just make it for something else, something bigger. In university, we see artists that are doing like things about very big concepts and very big and wide themes that are very current. And I am very into them too, but sometimes I don't know how to express them through art, which means that maybe these are themes that can be expressed easier through words, like what you said on the explanation of art, that maybe it's easier for people to get the message by text than trying to make it something original and fascinating to watch, because it's complicated. And yeah, I don't know, but I agree with what you say, and at the same time it's something that I'm trying to confront.
I think it's very interesting what you're saying. You kind of think that it's not worth it to do it if it's not something big, something abstract, some concept. And I think that kind of kills the soul of the artist and like the will of creating just for creating. And I think the magic of art is the fact that you are just creating basically for yourself. You're kind of doing therapy, and maybe at the end of the day it's something that other people can also enjoy. I think the art is mostly what you are doing when you are painting, what you are expressing, and what the fact of painting it makes you feel and how you feel while you do it. I think that's mainly what art ends up explaining, the feeling that the artist was feeling when he was doing the piece. So I don't know, I also think kind of explaining it makes it a bit strict, the interpretation you can make about it. And I believe art should be something that each one understands a different thing from a piece. Maybe you can see the same picture as me, and maybe I feel anger and you feel sadness, but at the end of the day, we are both being moved by this piece, and I think that's what matters. It's not that this is trying to express a very difficult and very complex concept and you're feeling so intellectual because you're now understanding it through a piece. I think that is kind of bullshit. No, yeah, I actually think art is more about feelings than concepts, and I think we're kind of losing that.
I see what you say, and I understand it. But also, on the other hand, I'm someone who goes to museums and reads the explanation before seeing the work, because I really try to understand it. In my experience, sometimes some things and some works are about a specific case that happened in a specific place and a specific time, and if you don't read it, it's impossible to understand the context. Also, what you are saying is that art should be interpreted by different people in different ways. I think that's just how it really is. Like, that's impossible to like avoid. In the audience mind, it will become something else. Many artists struggle with that, but I see that you just embrace it.
Yeah, I don't think you can like take a piece and say this means this. Because as you said, everyone has their own baggage and their own experiences. For me, it is kind of frustrating when like a piece is already telling me what to think. When I see a piece and like maybe I've interpreted something completely different and I'm completely happy with the piece, like I love it. And then maybe I read the explanation and I don't really feel it. It doesn't mean that the explanation shouldn't be there. But what I'm actually saying is, if without the explanation, even if it is a concept, I think it should still kind of move you. You know, even if you don't have a context and you don't really know what it's all about, like the piece should kind of like make you feel it anyways. You know, because if it doesn't move any feelings, if it only moves like intellectual parts of your brain, I think it's not really art. It's just my opinion, but I think it's not really art. I think art should move your heart rather than your mind. The concept that nowadays anything can become art kind of makes me feel like nothing's art. You know, like I can respect that, but like don't put it on a museum. I'm just saying that like there is stuff that moves people. There is stuff that has like a depth, and you know, I see art kind of like a language. You're always expressing your feelings, your emotions, or your concepts. You know, even that can work, but it does have to kind of have an influence on you. And then people are always going to interpret whatever they want. Even if you're saying something very concrete, you may be saying hello there, and they might be understanding, I don't like you, whatever, you know. Everyone is going to understand whatever they want to. But I think what's important is like the fact that we are trying to communicate further than language, you know, that we are trying to say something that we feel like language cannot actually fully embrace, and that the language kind of stays short when trying to express it. That's why I kind of feel like if you need an explanation for the piece of art, it's not really art, because what is the fucking sense of the piece of art? Like it's just an intermediary that does basically nothing. Like art is a language. That's kind of my conclusion. Like we're just trying to express our feelings, our incommodities, our insecurities, and whatever just goes through our minds, which even we cannot understand many times. Many times I don't know what's going on through my brain. It's just crazy stuff I don't understand. And many times for me art is a way to clarify it and like give an order and a structure to all that crazy mush of thoughts and ideas.
I wanted to ask you like something very deep, like what is your long-term purpose?
I guess it's not like the easiest question to answer, but one of my fantasies for my future is having like a big space where people can come and make art and be free in their art and have all the media and all the chances to be an artist and express themselves freely. The experience I would like to bring with this project would be like for people to be able to go there, express themselves, but also be able to buy the art that's being made there and make money at the same time as we help other people. And for example, I would like there to be some kids learning art. I think it makes you develop kind of your feelings and your maturity. I think art goes along the way of learning how to express yourself, or like dealing with the fact that maybe you don't know how to express yourself, and then you need to paint in order to do that.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say because I think it's already super long, but it's fun. It's like a podcast. This is nice. I think this was like €1. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for being here.
Thank you too for interviewing me and being such a nice host.
Okay, you can finish this and drink it all. I invite you. Okay, bye. Very good. Is there any tattoo or anybody that you remember clearly as a weird thing or something fun, but something that surprised you? Like something that maybe someone asked you and you were like, what?
Well, many different stuff, but maybe it's not very appropriate.
It's nice.